Hey y'all, we are climbing the Labyrinth, and this is a super quick kind of spur of the moment sort of video, but I feel like the craziness has boiled over. Things are getting a bit bizarre in the world, and it's finally starting to hit somewhat close to home, especially if some of y'all watching this are from the Dutch Reformed Church background or persuasion. You will find this very interesting, at least on the onset, and then we'll kind of follow the rabbit trail. Here's the nutshell of everything. Lately, things have just been continuing to go farther and farther and farther. We began the month with this being Pride Month, and here's what I'll say first, is Pride Month begins, and then every possible thing on the planet that wants to sell you something caters to it being Pride Month. So no longer is something one individual thing trying to sell you something in regular capitalist fashion. It's how can we leverage it? And so what'll happen is after the month ends, then things are no longer Pride Month friendly anymore, and they'll take the rainbows down. The irony is the rainbow is first and foremost a biblical thing from Noah and the flood, and God saying, hey, just remember, I'm not going to wipe you all out again. And so only because of the rainbow does God allow all the craziness. Like, that's the reminder that I will allow you. I will love you. This is a very Bardian thing. I will love you with such freedom that I will allow you to freely choose bad things. Paul says, I give you over to your depravity, basically, in Romans 1. But let's jump in here, because this one just came across while we were at staff eating lunch. And I'll pop a little thing up here. And this is breaking news. This is from the Iowa Standard. So if those of you that are from Iowa, or at least have family or friends in Iowa, the breaking news is the Pella Aquatic Center. And there's a picture here that I'm looking at from the screenshot. Confirms that it allowed a teenaged biological female to walk around topless, use men's facilities. Those facilities had boys of all ages due to gender identity. So when you scroll through and read the story, and it'll probably be on a number of places, basically they classify this person as a middle teen. So maybe 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 would be my guess, somewhere in the maybe high school age would be my assumption. That was born biological female, but is considered a trans male because she identifies as a male. She was allowed to walk around in just shorts. So this person was allowed to walk around in just shorts and use the facilities where other kids are. And now one of the comments on here was from a parent that said, if I were to take a picture of that, you would not see a picture of a boy in a swimming suit. I would be charged with child pornography. This is where things are going. Like, it's finally hitting close to home. And when they were asked, the Aquatic Center said, well, we can't go against things that discriminate based on gender identity. So asking somebody to wear clothes violates how they identify, not their biological gender, but how they identify. Now, you can go on Facebook and find that there's 200, 400, 600 different identities that you can find. And here's where I want to trace this. So it's finally hitting real close to home for some of us that are in the Midwest. In Iowa, in Pella, Iowa, nonetheless, if those of you that live in the Reformed Church bubble, Pella is one of the Reformed Church meccas. Like, it is one of the big places. And it is now front and center that we're going to have to really start thinking seriously about these deals. You move a little further, a lot of these stories come from Not the Bee. So there's the Babylonian Bee or the Babylon Bee, and that is satire. Not the Bee is not satire. Not the Bee is information that you go, this can't be real. So if you have never followed that, follow them. And here we have Miss Nevada is the trailblazer in her own way to Miss USA pageant as the first transgender contestant. So the Miss Nevada winner for the Miss USA pageant is a biological male. So we go from biological males moving into the more sporting realm of the areas where track and field and things like that, wrestling, all mixed martial arts, all that sort of stuff, to now one of the joking things in here is the media is falling all over this and really loving it, but now where does that put women that biological men are winning in their sports and biological men are winning in their beauty pageants, like the opposite spectrum? So here we see a trickle down effect, and then you get a little further in and you see there's a section in here where the next one I have here, I'll see if I can blow this up a little bit, that mom celebrates with her 15-year-old child. My 15-year-old transgender son is going through menopause, and I am so proud of him. That means that child is not old enough to drink alcohol. That child is not old enough to go to the doctor without their parents' permission. That child is not old enough to get an aspirin at school without express written consent, and they are now giving that child hormones to change and alter her endocrine system forever. There are a number of studies, a number of them. If you haven't read the book, The Madness of Crowds by Douglas Murray, look that up. Madness of Crowds, Douglas Murray. He is from the UK. He is actually a homosexual male that is able to look at things and go, hey, we are going in a really bad place. And you'll just see how this goes. And one of the sections he has in there is on transgenderism and the struggle of what happens when people so young make decisions that later in their life they're like, that's not a good decision. We don't let the majority of teenage kids just choose what they want to do all the time and endorse it. And so this mom is saying, I am so proud that my son is going through menopause. This should harken back to the Harvard thing in their studies and the Biden administration putting out a lot of their presidential orders and stuff of birthing people. They're no longer moms, that they are birthing people. And you may be asking, so where is all this craziness coming from? How is this stuff getting pushed out so hard? Well, let's take a look at this next one. This is from the one of the, I think it's actually probably one of the largest, most influential media companies on the planet. And we have Disney. Disney celebrates Pride Month with Kermit the Frog, and I don't know if y'all have seen it, but there was a whole Pride thing that was done from Nickelodeon, and so a drag queen from Nickelodeon. And you say, what? So most of us probably have Disney Plus because we like Marvel and we like the action stuff and we like the old Disney movies that we're no longer supposed to really like anymore because they had some sort of bias against other people. Now they're targeting kids to say, this is me, anything you want to be. And I'm not going to play any of that stuff because it'll flag it. Now, let's say that that's not enough for you. Well, then you move on a little further, and I'm not going to play the video, but you can kind of see it here. I'll zoom in real close behind the bubble. And now the NFL, the National Football League, and I'll read it, is gay. The National Football League is lesbian. Football is beautiful. Football is queer. Football is life. Football is exciting. Football is culture. Football is transgender. Football is queer. Football is heart. Football is power. Football is tough. Football is bisexual. Football is strong. Football is freedom. Football is American. Football is accepting. Football is everything. Football is everyone. So football is technically nothing. Like, what is going on here? Like, why can't football just be football? Suddenly it has to make a statement that covers every possible gambit. Like, this is how far that they're going. Between Disney, Nickelodeon, Marvel, all of that stuff is pushing on your kids, and they're feeling it. All the way to now we see NFL is pushing on everybody. And then you go a little further and you go, okay, well, how far does this go? And now you see here is a this is a influencer on social media from London. This is Oli, I think, OLI, London. And you look and go, okay, something's a little strange here. Well, Oli is transracial because he really likes Korean pop stars, so K-pop stuff. And the irony in all of this is he identifies as non-binary, so not male, not female, and now he is trans, or she, or it, or I don't know the pronoun, transracial. But people are getting mad because, the biology part where you can be a boy, you can be a girl, you can be either or none, you could be queer, you could be whatever you want to be, and we have to figure out a way to make that work, especially the struggle of with our own kids, like at the pool in Pella, which they said had happened a number of times in the article. But when it comes to transracial, that's not okay. And this person is getting a lot of backlash on social media saying you can't be transracial because you're a white person and not a Korean person. You're not a person of color. Well, how far does trans go? It can go as far as you want it to be. It can be anything. I could be something with my trans age. I think I'm 65 years old and I should get some of that Social Security money. Oh, that doesn't work because biologically it doesn't work. Oh, well, that doesn't matter. Like, what's to stop people from starting to draw out all their money from Social Security? And if that wasn't enough, just for those of you still hanging on after 10 minutes, 4th of July is coming up, and we have all of the news stories coming out with Gwen Berry, who dissed on the national anthem, representing the United States and the Olympic team. Only because we live in a country with the freedoms that we do is this allowed. Only because we live in a country this way are these things allowed. And so there is an irony that we live in a country of freedom, and then when it is allowed to be pushed to the limit, then suddenly we don't know what to do anymore. We don't know where to look. We don't know how all these pieces of the puzzle fit together because nobody knows what's okay and what's not okay. We have all the way, let's bring it all the way back to Pella. The Pella Aquatic Center doesn't know what the heck to do because they don't want to get sued. They also don't want the people in the facility walking around seeing half-naked people because we don't allow that in public. Well, pretty soon, either everybody's going to have to cover up and we're going to have Sharia law where we all wear hijabs and stuff, or anybody can wear anything or not anything that they want. There's no longer an indecent exposure. I mean, this stuff is really kind of going off the rails, and I wanted this video to be really, really short just to let you know, hey, things are going crazy, and the thing that you need for the craziness is not more craziness, not more and more and more of the trans everything, but you need more Jesus. You need more time where you need to spend reading your Bible. You need more time where I'm not passing a massive judgment against all these people that think they're trans something or other, LGBTQ, whatever, but the reminder that we are all God's beloved people. And once you decide to be a part of God's family, then that has expectations on you. If you don't want to be in God's family, if you are keeping yourself outside of that, if you are living a life contrary to that, then that is an area where those of us Christians need to have grace. That we need to be the place where they can find the loving arm of Jesus, that they can find a place to call family and not. You have so many people that are getting lost in this LGBTQ world because it is so accepting of everyone. When you are accepting of everyone, then that is a place to find community and family. Now, when you are a community and family in Christ, then it seems like you're not accepting of everyone because we have a standard. Well, we need to be a little more lax when it comes to those that are outside of the doors. We can still be critical and say this stuff is bonkers, but you still have to have conversations. You still have to love people. You still have to care for them, but you can't be so hardened. Like, if we want these freedoms in the United States, then we have to take what comes with them in some ways. Now, that doesn't mean that we should cave to the pressure, that we should all have the societal struggle, that anything that is super progressive, super liberal, super way out there on the fringes is okay, because it's not. That doesn't see who people are in the image of God. But what we do need to do is center ourselves on Jesus and not get caught in the craziness debate, not get caught in the struggle of all these things going on. Okay, we're like 15 minutes in. Thanks for watching, y'all. We climbed the labyrinth just a little bit, although I'm pretty sure it got a little more fuzzy than clarifying. But if you made it this far, be on the lookout. I'm going to try and get something out about an ARC meeting if you are savvy to the Alliance of Reformed Churches. We had a meeting here just a couple of days ago to give a brief update on that. So yeah, till next time.